But we are going to look at selling in tough times. To me, selling itself is a pandemic, itself is tough, so always it's tough time for me, but my job is always, there's a book I love, says tough times never last, but tough people do. Tough times will always come. So for that case, you allow me, they do their due diligence introduction, you introduce yourself. That was a highlight for our speakers to get. So you can do your personal introduction. When we are done, then we'll open the whole discussion. Thank you.
I know for the journey and for the people that just joined sales,
Yes.
I would say in sales, it's always tough. It's always tough. When the month is starting, you're always asking yourself how the month will move. I know if you've been in sales and for the first day in the month, when the month has just started, the first day, you don't see a client or you don't have a sale, then you expect to get it in the next day. The next day comes in, you don't see even a prospect now. Then you are like, the whole week, this first week is crazy.
Yes.
Maybe next week. When that becomes tough time, you could be someone who's starting in sales and maybe your first time in sales. You do not have airtime needed for prospects. You do not have transport to move and get and reach where the prospects are. And even your appearance may not attract many prospects. You do not have enough product knowledge, all that. So when we look at sales and selling in tough times, there are a number of things that one can think. One of the things that most of us want are things that make us easily find them.
Yes.
And because of this, it drives us to always want what we want come first. One of the things I learned is that for real success,
Yes.
is by process, not by event.
Yes.
Real success is process, not event. So, meaning that you must be ready to undertake the hardships, the challenges, and once you overcome them, that's when you count your success. And because of this, most people, either those who start businesses and do not find the reasons that are behind process, they always collapse in the middle.
Yes.
That's why we have so many companies failing. We have so many businesses running out of capital.
Yes.
We've seen so number of companies here in Uganda
Yes.
running out of business.
Yes.
It's because there are so many activities that are left out. To understand that sales is the drive. Actually, sales is the heart of every business. Now, as a CEO, as a manager, as a proprietor, if you don't love sales, then you are not supposed to be in business. How will your business grow? And how will your people sell what you don't sell?
Yes.
Now, every time, I always wake up and I'm like, what are we selling today? What are we bringing in market? How are we selling it? How can we sell it? Who's going to buy it? How can we make him buy? It was a present, like what I was telling you, that making 500 clients in serving them in lockdown, these people who have been in loans, they know what I'm talking about. Other people, if you've been a loans officer and you recover at least 90% of the loans you've given, you know what it takes. But why? Because when you want to do what everyone is doing, then know that you will be defeated by everyone that is doing what you are doing.
Yes.
I don't know whether I'm speaking to someone. If you love to do what everyone is doing, there is a process, there is activities, know that you will be defeated by those people that are doing the same thing.
Yes.
Now, it's what drives me into real sales. Now, personally, I remember the first time I got into sales, I had small businesses and I was doing some businesses. And I remember in the other discussion, we discussed about some of them. And when I talked about like, I am going to work for commission, I was rejected. Before being rejected by the people who are going to buy, by being rejected by prospects, I was rejected by my own people. You must be a fool.
Yes.
That was the right statement.
Yes.
How do you leave a small business and you become a salesperson? Well, the business was not going to pay me where I am now today.
Gotcha.
Why? Because they were all depending, as like what I've told you, success is not an activity. Sorry, it's not an event. It's a process. And I remember in senior 5 there, I discussed, my friends who are even viewing us, they know my original statement. It's me, Ignatius, the real Ignatius that has always been saying the same thing. I talked to them, I told them, I will succeed by process, not by event.
Yes.
That was the decision I made after when we were in senior 5. I will succeed by process, not by event. I started doing hard things. Just to start working with companies, I started selling what we call a hard product. Some of you are lucky that you sell a product where people don't, the rate of rejection is minimal.
Yes.
But I'm okay because I worked there and my reference is still there. I started selling loans where a customer would take 3 million and return 9 million in 5 years, after 5 years. So meaning the customer has to pay 6 million. Now explaining why a customer should take 3 million and return. That's why in some discussion, when we come to my real topic, how to handle objection in sales, I have a story to share with you. Give someone 3 million, but do you know how much I would get after a customer taking 3 million? I would get, that was coming to 6%. What is 6% of 3 million? Someone calculate, yeah?
6% of 3 million?
If it's not there, that means sales people just come on. 6% of 3 million.
That is 500. 180.
180. Commission on one client.
Are you sure it is 360? 6%.
6%? 360. Right. Just on one. Now, this is why when I made, actually, I fucked up on the first month. I sold 1.8 million and I was paid a peanut. I didn't even want to see how much has come in first month. The second month, I sold 18 million. You can calculate. And 6% of 18 million. If you're there, you can calculate. That was how much commission Bayport was paying us as sales agents. 18 million. And surprisingly, I was told that I was the best sales agent in the region that month. Just from 1 month. You know, it is selling in hard times. I understand it in a different perspective.
So you want to tell us that selling in hard times is largely dependent on how you are willing to handle the rejection.
It's the hardest, it is that very point. Now, you look at how much one earns, but you don't know how much.
Now, what I'm understanding is that if you are going to sell in hard things, you should prepare your heart and skill yourself to learn how to handle rejections. Because I don't think you talk to 18, if you sold 3 million, you need to sold. If every client was taking 3 million to make 18 in a month, you have to reach 16 clients. I don't think you talk to 6 clients and they all said yes.
That's what you, can that happen in sales?
Who's